Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is PETA.
And my name is Ashton.
Do you like these shirts? Do you like these? Not that one. Do you like these shirts?
Well, I could probably still buy that hoodie though.
I mean, I like
Yeah,
that one.
this hoodie's...
Do you like that hoodie? Do you like these shirts?
Wow.
It's only a wild card entry shirt and a, oh yeah, here we go, sports time shirt. You can buy them right now at TripleJumpShirt.com. Go get them while they're hot. New merch. It's happened. We've finally done it.
It did happen. Go check it out.
How are you enjoying all of the new merch that you've had samples of, Ashton?
I love it. Everything is so high quality and soft.
Yeah.
And I've seen everything.
Especially the pins.
Especially
They're very
the
soft.
pins. Yeah, they're very soft.
They are. There's some
Yeah.
pins. There's a
An
USB. There's all sorts. That's it.
That's it.
Go check it
Two
out.
shirts,
TripleJumpShop.com. That's what we've been
And a
working on
USB.
for 7 months.
It's been a
TripleJumpShop.com.
pandemic, you know.
Yeah.
Go check it out. We'll get straight to work on the next merch drop, hopefully in time for
We've already got a
Christmas.
list.
We've already got a list,
We
and
have.
we are checking it twice. But yes, wildcard shirt, sports time shirt.
Sports time.
Go get it checked.
Yes.
Wear them.
This is our video game podcast. We do it once a week. We get questions from you if you support us on Patreon. And we also have a sponsor each and every week, don't we? A very real video game adjacent
Thank
sponsor.
God.
Woo.
I have the ad read here. Announcing the dual releases of Life is Strange Blue Colors and Life is Beige True Colors. Finally, a port of a popular video game that serves the perception of the dog's color spectrum.
Blue
Right?
and beige.
Blue and beige.
Is that true, is it?
Dogs have not actually been... Sorry?
Is that true? They can only see blue and beige?
Well, I Googled dogs' color perception and the range was beige to blue.
Okay.
So
I guess, yeah, it's
I don't know
true.
if beige is a sort of a recognized
okay, well,
scientific
desaturated
colour.
then.
Just yellow, I guess.
That rhymes
but
with
yeah.
strange.
It does.
Sort of.
It's great, yeah.
So thank you.
Yellow to blue.
So finally, the massively underserved dog community will be able to enjoy this game in sort of the range of colours that they can actually physically perceive with their dog eyes. And it's sort of like a twin release, like, you know, the Pokemon games, they come out and there's always two of them.
Two colours.
Yeah.
So
beige
we
and
got
blue.
Life is Strange blue colours and Life is Beige, sort of in the strange true colours, which is available right now. Quipscope,
Cool.
go and watch it or
Yeah.
listen to it. And that is actually not real.
Oh,
Sorry.
poor dogs.
I mean, I don't really mind because I'm not a dog, but, you know.
Wow, that's a real closed-minded view. Of
It is
things,
actually.
Peter.
Yeah.
All the dogs
You know, if
listening
we
got
said,
very
"Oh, I don't
excited,
really mind
so-
because I'm not a dog about everything,"
Yeah.
then you know it'd be a
Clearly
really
I'm
bad
not
world
bothered
for
about
dogs.
accessibility for dogs.
No.
Clearly.
Dog racist, Peter
Other
Austin.
communities, yeah. But
So-
Raging dog
because I'm a
racist.
human and they're better than dogs, so yeah, I said
Are
it.
they?
Whoa.
I wouldn't
That
say
is
so.
ridiculous. You don't see dogs hitting people with cars, do you?
Uh-uh.
No,
That's an
just how
exclusively
rubbish they are.
a human
They're not
behavior.
capable.
Yeah,
Even if they wanted to, they couldn't. Their little doggy feet couldn't
reach
the
the
pedals.
pedals.
but they're much
Rubbish.
cuter than every other human I've ever seen.
That's true.
That is
So
fair.
they have that upper hand.
But beauty fades.
well, not in dogs. It doesn't.
Well,
They're cute till the end.
yeah,
Oh.
some of them. I've seen some ugly dogs. You seen some ugly dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Never.
seen some really ugly dogs.
Not
some real
once.
stinkers.
They're cute till the end unless they get hit by a car, in which case, right at the end, they're not very cute at all.
And then the window rolls down. Who's driving the car? A dog.
A dog.
And then it goes ding, and it says directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan. Anyway, sorry, this is not what we're here to talk about. We are actually sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team Triple Jump. Those of you who already support us on Patreon will have had an exclusive early heads up about the changing of the tiers and the rewards. I will say that the $1 tier, which you can support us at to submit questions to the podcast, will not be changing. There's nothing negative in the changes to the Patreon.
nothing's-
It's just more stuff that
Yeah.
you'll be getting each month if you do decide to support us. We'll be making the full announcement on Monday, telling you all of the cool things that you'll be getting if you go to patreon.com/Team Triple Jump. But please do consider going over there and supporting us. In this podcast, we get questions from you at home. So go and do it, or we'll be sad and we'll talk about dogs hitting dogs in cars again. Anyway, moving on.
We're also sort of sponsored in another form by the lovely people over at... Are you ready, Kieran? Kieran, are you ready?
Kieran, are you ready?
You're doing some live directing. Kieran?
Are you prepared?
He's ready.
TripleJump.gg.
Hello, everyone. As well as our extremely real and totally not fictitious in any way sponsor, we're officially partnered with PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo to sell their codes through our own website, TripleJump.gg.
Here you can get everything from topping up your digital wallets to PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass, and Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions, as well as Minecraft Mine Coins. Mine Coins, they'll be your coins any minute.
Nice one, Peter.
Yeah, thanks very much.
It's 100% legitimate, directly supports us, and provides you with the delightful digital currencies you're going to buy anyway. Visit TripleJump.gg to browse our full stock.
TripleJump.gg. This is a real sponsor.
It's time then for question 1. Samuel Benson has sent a question and says, Howdy Bap, with the upcoming releases of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Bloodhunt, and Redfall, we seem to be getting a huge wave of vampire games. It is actually quite difficult to tell them apart. Whenever I see one of them, I'm like, oh,
Which one is that?
Which one?
Which one is that?
All of them. What?
None of them are Bloodborne, I'll tell you that much.
No.
Yeah.
Are there any mythical creatures you would like to see in more video games or have more video games focused around? Cheers. Thanks, Samuel.
Thanks, Samuel.
That's a good
Thanks,
question.
Samuel.
I thought of one that I think it was based somewhat off. Well, no, actually, these are sort of two completely different ideas. But I just generally wanted to say that I really liked the bit in Uncharted 2 with the in the Yeti cave.
3.
It's 2, isn't it?
No, you're right.
Yeah, it's
3
2.
is the Ghost Man, isn't
You're
it?
right. In Uncharted 2, there's a cave that you go to on the Himalayas, which has, I mean, quote unquote Yetis in them. They're actually
Smurfs.
Smurfs. Yeah, exactly. They're like
Wookiees.
the guardians of they're Wookiees. They're the guardians of what's it called? The place that he's looking for.
It's a funny name
Shangri-La.
for a place.
Yes, one of those.
Shangri-La.
Anyway, I thought that was really well done. It was very atmospheric. You're just doing a lot of climbing, and there's a bit where you're like climbing up a cliff, and there's a thing in the foreground.
I hate that. That made me jump so much.
It just looks like a bit of rock in the foreground. The way they just scale it and like pose it is very good. And then suddenly it just moves and like walks out of frame. And you're like, what the flip is
Christ. It's time for Uncharted to do a weird mythological thing.
Yeah, as they
and
often
then
do.
They don't do it in Uncharted 4, which I was kind of sad about.
Yeah.
Very much an Amy Hennig quirk, I think, perhaps.
Yeah.
But there we are.
It's very Indiana Jonesy in that sense, I guess. But so just generally wanted to say that was good, wasn't it? That mythological creature bit in that game.
Yeah.
But I've come up with a game that I think will be pretty good. It's a walking sim, and it is set on the shores of Loch Ness,
Oh.
and it's sort of a mixture between the kind of thing that you get in a lot of walking sims, where it's more just about character relationships and stuff. And I've not come up with like an in-depth story, but a guy is maybe just staying there, and there's maybe some like family troubles happening, and a lot of it is based around that and just his relationship. And you do a lot of walking around. Maybe everybody's gone to the Rapture style, where there's a very pretty like Scottish village Inverness isn't. It's not a village, is it? But then also coupled with that, there are bits, and there's more and more as you go, where maybe you're seeing something in the loch, and what was that? And maybe there's a bit where like at one point you're on a rowing boat in the middle of the loch in like the
What are you
fog.
doing there?
And
Why have you gone out
dunno.
there?
Why have you gone out there? There's a monster in
not
there.
written it. Yeah, I will
Monsty
do.
Pond.
Monster.
And you see like
That's what they call it in Scotland.
yeah, the Monsty Pond, the famous world famous Monsty Pond. Because I think there is a lot to be said for number one, Jaws style tension, where you don't really see much of the monster until towards the end.
Monsty.
Monsty
In
from
the
the Monsty Pond. But also, I think deep water is flipping terrifying, and the idea of being in a game where I'm on a boat in the middle of a lake and I know that there's a monster in there. Maybe there's even a bit where you end up in the water. You fall in or something, and you can just see like really far down below you in the darkness. There's like something swimming around.
Is it like
a
that?
battered Mars bar.
A battered
and a
Mars
can of Iron Brew.
No.
I was going to say, is it like that video where they edited someone like jumped into the ocean with a GoPro, and then when they get in there, there's just like a
there's
shark like
there.
right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then towards the end, you see more and more of it like Jaws. And then it probably has a bittersweet ending where it's like, you don't have to like kill the monster or anything. You just like, in hunting for the monster, you repair the relationship with your daughter as an absent parent.
That's nice.
Or something,
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, by both of you getting eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a happy, brand new relationship within the belly
You
of
marry the Loch
the
Ness
pond
monster.
entity.
Nice.
Yeah, you
Like-
marry it.
You
Jonah.
marry it. Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Exactly.
Kind of.
That's what I want to see. A walking sim set in Inverness.
I didn't think that much detail. I just kind of went of like, what kind of creatures do we not see a lot of? My first instinct was magical horses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a unicorn.
Yes.
Maybe just a regular magic horse. Or maybe a Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Imagine flying around on the back of a Pegasus.
Sounds magic.
You might be able
Sounds
to do
amazing.
that in Hogwarts Legacy or something
You might
like
be able
that.
to,
Maybe,
yeah, maybe.
Hippogriff.
Also, I was thinking angels and devils, because there's not really a lot of games that like focus on like the angels, and obviously there's like thousands of or maybe not thousands, a lot of years of probably thousands. Sorry, I'm going back and forth.
You're
How
okay.
many years since angels have been in a thing?
Yeah, probably thousands.
Probably thousands.
Yeah.
There's like loads of different iterations of angels, whether they're like a good thing or they're like kind of evil and bad. And I'd quite like to see a version of like the angels that's like a bit nasty, scary.
You should, except shouldn't, play Darksiders, which is like that, but not actually very good.
Oh, okay.
Dark
first
Side
one
So
is
I'd like
not so
that a bit
bad.
better.
It has a
if you don't
surprising
mind.
contingent of hardcore
It
fans.
does, I
Dark
know,
Side.
yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
remember when 2 came out and people were saying, it's like Zelda. And I played maybe 5 minutes of it and thought, this is just crap.
So it was like Zelda, because we played about 5 minutes of Zelda and
Whoa!
didn't play anymore.
It's too early for spicy Zelda takes.
The first
Damn.
one, the first Darksiders is not like, it's not dreadful, but they should have stopped immediately.
three wasn't good.
Yeah.
And then they did the War Mastered Edition, which I think is single-handedly the worst play on remastered that anyone's done.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
War Mastered.
Mastered.
Shut up. That sounds like something we'd come up with. And we're not even being paid. Or are we?
Oh, where are we? But yeah, angels and maybe some devils sprinkled in there as well.
Yeah.
Just a little
Just
dust.
a little
little
dust and the
scattering.
demons, just
Yeah.
around. I think that would be fun.
And the angels are really boring, but the demons or like the
Devils.
the devils are like they're super sexy, right?
Yeah.
They're like they've got like washboard abs.
Yeah.
Really powerful, sexy devils, and then the angels are like nerds. You
Yeah.
know,
Bloody nerds.
just losers.
There is some really
Big
like
losers.
crazy sort of mythology in like towards the end of the Bible where it gets
Mm.
really,
Yeah.
the end game stuff. In Book of Revelations, there's things where there's like monsters that have like 48 eyes and like, oh, it's got a head,
Yeah.
but its head is made out of a big golden ring.
It's like, rotating golden rings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's the
so-
thing, because obviously you've got like the version of angels where it's just like a lovely, beautiful man with wings.
Mm.
But then you've also got like the real kind of messed up stuff that
Yeah.
people have taken and been like, what if angels were just blooming crazy?
It was a
flipping
lion,
weird.
but made out of 666 trumpets. Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
I bet it sounded
Cool.
great.
Yeah.
When it roared, my ears bled.
Imagine its arrival. It would be.
Oh
would
God,
do
do you
a
reckon it
trumpet
would
solo
even need a
itself.
herald?
No,
No, it
you'd
would
hear
just
it
do it
coming.
itself.
The trumpet lion
As it like
angel.
walked along, it would just go.
Every step.
I can't do a very good mouse
Let's
trumpet.
make that game. The trumpet lion
A
angel.
trumpet lion angel.
That's it. That's what we want.
Thank you.
Peter and I thought down similar lines. I did actually put a joke in here, which I've realised and now ruined the punchline of. I was going to say zombies are a very underrepresented monster that could possibly have some games.
Yeah.
And that's about as many laughs as I would have
okay.
got if I'd actually gone through with it. No, I want a game set at sea, modern day.
Ooh.
You're
I already don't like
investigating.
No,
You're
thanks.
investigating a shipwreck. You know, you're there with your research crew or whatever
Right.
on your research vessel,
Vessel.
and we get all the sea creatures involved. We get the sirens. We get the mermaids. We get the krakens. We get a hydra. We get sea serpents. We get mermen. maybe a Yeti has learned how to swim.
Oh, a swimming Yeti.
And you start to go sort of slowly more bonkers, and the crew begins to sort of turn on one another as you're haunted by visions of the past, the crew that you're investigating, you know, the shipwreck. But also, there's also
Ghost pirates.
these, well, maybe ghost pirates, but mainly like there are these mythological sea creatures that are manipulating all of you, and it starts to get weirder as it goes on. Perhaps imagine
It's like set in the Bermuda Triangle or something.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Stick
Yeah.
it there.
Stick it.
Imagine like a Dark Pictures anthology game, but like competent.
Right.
And that's sort of what I'm going for here. You know,
So
like
Man of Medan.
they always have such great premises, but then they massively underdeliver each time. That's sort of what I'm imagining here. Perhaps a third
Does sound
person
kinda scary.
decision-based thing, and your crew goes bonkers and they start to see weird
Maybe
stuff.
just to throw in all of the sea mythology, maybe the shipwreck you're investigating, it was actually sunk by
In the Monty Pond.
in the Monty Pond, the big Monty
The
Pond.
big Monty
called
the biggest, the Pacific Monty Pond.
It was sunk by Atlantis.
Oh.
Like the
Aquaman.
guns in Atlantis shot this ship.
The Atlantis flak
And the mermaids are
cannons.
actually just like the people from Aquaman who are just kind of real
man,
angry.
Aquaman's in there too.
Yeah.
So
Jason
there
Momoa.
you go. You succumb to the crushing depths of the inky black Monty Pond.
There's that there's a film based on the true story that inspired Moby Dick.
Okay.
Okay.
Bit of a
Mobert Richard.
Mobert Richard, yeah. And the film is called, I think it's called The Heart of the Sea or The Heart of the Ocean. No, that's the name of the
That's
thing.
the
That
name
was
of the
Titanic.
diamond thingy.
I think
Yeah.
It's called In the Heart of the Sea is the
Okay.
name of the film, something like that.
Oh.
And it's about a guy on a whaling ship, and it gets attacked by this giant white whale, and it like thrashes the ship to death with its tail, and they
Whoa.
get shipwrecked, and they have to like cannibalize each other. Not seen it, but I really want to.
It's done with Chris Hemsworth
sounds
in it.
fun.
Maybe.
Is that Chris Hemsworth? It's very
Yeah,
low.
it's gotta be
Heart of the
Chris
Sea.
Hemsworth.
It's got a big whale tail on that box
Yeah,
art, so
looks
that must
like
be
it.
Can somebody please mock up a
The crew of a whaling ship encounter a huge albino bull sperm whale, which tests their resilience and beliefs. They are pushed to their limits to survive out there in the sea.
It's like a monster movie, but it's based on, I think, an actual true story.
Came out on Boxing
Monster
Day.
movie.
Apparently
Sorry.
Tom Holland's in it.
They did the Monsty Mash.
I've never heard of this movie before. Chris Hemsworth, Tom Holland, Cillian Murphy are in it.
It was sort of not quite,
Killian, sorry.
not quite.
Is it not? Is it Killian?
I think it's Killian, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Killian.
Oh, I thought it was Cillian. Wow, I was saying it wrong this whole time.
It's
You-
sort of.
you sound a bit
It wasn't at the forefront of movies at the time. It was like just
Chris Hemsworth's done a couple of movies like that. Though,
Yeah.
hasn't he? It's not relevant to games, but like the Huntsman and whatever the
Snow
hell.
White and the
Yeah,
Huntsman.
Oh, yeah,
and
with-
it was just sort of flew under the radar.
Yeah.
But the trailer, I've seen the trailer to that film multiple times. I think it looks really cool as a monster movie, but I've just never watched it. So maybe a game like that as well.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Can someone please mock up a box art for the Dark Pictures anthology
Ocean.
Monty Pond?
Monty
please.
Pond.
I would like to see that. Let's move on to a section we've never done before. What's it called, Ashton?
It's called What We Playin'. Peter Austin, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing 2 games this week. I have officially killed all of the orcs.
Yeah.
Have they all died?
They
They've
all
not,
dead.
actually. They've not all died. You
no.
can't. They just come forever
That's
and ever.
ruined my dancing move.
Forever and ever.
I'll kill all the orcs.
Forever.
And ever.
So I'd already, in the previous podcast, I had already finished the main story of Orcs Must Die 3,
Yeah.
but it came bundled with the Dulk,
Yeah, oh, okay.
on Steam. I don't know if it was free for people on Stadia or if when they re-released it or did the secondary release on Steam, they said, oh, I'll throw that in for free. No idea. But I finished that. That was only short-ish, but really hard
Whoa.
to get 5 stars or 5 skulls, if you want to use it.
I do.
There were only like maybe 5 or 6 levels, but the last 2 or 3 took me. It basically took me an entire evening to do each one, like a whole sesh of like a couple of hours to get it to 5 skulls. But I had fun the whole time. It wasn't like banging my head against the desk. It was really good. It was fun.
Nice.
But those flipping flying enemies, they really flip you up. They flipping do. I'm so
Whoa.
used to just building a maze on the ground for people to walk through that's just full of like spiky things, and then you just get these like bats that just fly over the top of it all, and you have to shoot them down, and it sucks.
Shoot
Except
it
it
down.
doesn't, because I had a great time. There's still more for me to play of that game if I wanted to. There's an endless mode, which is like a horde mode in various different levels. And if you make it to I think wave 50, then you get 5 skulls. And there's also a new mode that they've clearly made to make the game replayable forever, which is that you have to get through I think 5 rounds of levels back to back. You don't get to do any restarts. You have 20 rift points across all 5 levels, and the rift points are things that go down as people enter your base. So if people get through all your traps, if one orc gets through, it goes down from 20 to 19 to 18, 17.
It's like life.
It's like life, yeah, exactly. But you have 20 points across all 5 levels, which you don't normally in the game. Normally you have like a life bar for each level. So you got to like keep that in mind. And then you get debuffs and buffs added as each level goes on. So it'll be like, level 1, every enemy has double health. And you're like, oh, what?
What?
Jeez.
That doesn't sound fair.
Hey,
And
I
then
don't
level
have double
2,
health.
you'll get a new debuff, and it'll be like, hey, look out for the gnolls. The gnolls who are going to throw grenades at you are going to come in every single wave.
The Knoll.
The Knoll.
Gnolls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not Knoll, like
Yeah, I
Edmonds.
thought
Knoll
here
Edmonds.
come all of the Knolls.
Here comes Edmonds and
Deal
Fielding.
or no deal?
Fielding. There's the
Knoll,
one.
Coward.
There's the one off of the Oasis.
Yeah.
Gallagher.
Gallagher.
Yeah. You
Knoll.
just did Edmonds.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Mr. Blobby's there just by
Yeah.
extension.
Just because,
Cool.
yeah, they're together.
I don't want you to
They're
kill all of
together
them.
in real
They're going to
life.
come in
You can
every
kill some
single
of them,
wave
but
and
not all
throw
of them.
grenades at you. And normally you might just get 1 or 2 in an entire level. But no,
That's
there's
too
going to be
many
like
Knolls.
6 of them.
It's a
Too
lot of
many
Knolls.
Knolls.
But then you also get buffs. And it's like, hey, you're doing double damage now. Or you start each round with like 4,000 extra gold coins to buy traps. And then you can like re-roll them and stuff. And like you're like, oh, this Knoll debuff is really screwing me over. So for level
Damn
3...
Knolls.
I'm going to re-roll it, and oh no, now all of the gyms are coming at you instead, or something. I don't know. Get rid of Knoll.
Jim. I'm not going to go through all
No.
the From The Office.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's the only gym I could think
Yeah,
of.
there aren't a lot of
Jim
famous
Jenkins.
gyms. Jim Jenkins. Yeah,
Jim-
maybe all the Jameses are coming at you.
Yeah.
Gordon. Oh, I'd re-roll that.
Oh,
straight
Oh.
away.
real that.
There's
I'd
the
actually
Jim who we
actively
can't
try and
talk
murder him.
about. The
No.
Jim from Pokemon. All of the gyms.
Yeah, the Pokemon gyms.
That's like 16 gyms.
the Gaim off of The Simpsons. I'll wait for you to.
The who?
The Gaim. Oh, a Gaim. Do you guys watch The Simpsons?
No. Don't watch
Have you
this.
seen Family Guy? It's like well funny.
Is there a James in that?
Yeah, James Woods.
Okay.
You know, off of real life.
Off real
but
life.
he's also kind of a dick, so screw that guy.
So I've been playing Optimus Die.
That sounds great, Peter. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So that new mode called Scramble will just like mix up various levels at you, different debuffs, different enemies and stuff. So it's constantly a little bit different, a little bit new.
Oh.
No game is like any other.
Wow.
that sounds amazing.
I've also been playing The Movies by Lionhead, which
Yeah.
is a game from like 2000 and rubbish. Just one of those years.
One of those crap ones,
2000 and
S Club,
rubbish.
the S Club 7 years.
Yeah.
You take that S Club slander back.
I don't
right
know,
now.
05,
No.
06, maybe a complete guess based just vaguely off the
those years
graphics.
were rubbish. To
Yeah,
be
they
fair.
They
were.
were
bit.
pretty bang average years.
And I've been using that. It's a for those who don't know, it's like a management game where you run a movie studio lot and make films, but it actually has an in-game sort of animation tool, but you can't like actually pose people and like make them do what you want. You have to just use lots and lots and lots and lots of preset animations and string them
Right.
together.
So that's not the game where you made your brother get run over by a horse in.
No, it's not. My brother get run over by a horse.
Yeah, you said a couple of weeks ago on the podcast when Ben wasn't here, we were talking about things we've done to our siblings' games or things we've done to our siblings in games that is like kind of naughty. And you said that there was one movie thing where you made someone get run over by a horse.
Oh yeah. That's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's a
sadly.
different animation.
Different
game.
animation
game.
He's got like 12.
Yeah.
of them.
Sorry.
Yeah, remember the Art Attack one? That
Sure
was
do.
Yeah, huh?
So been playing that, but not for fun. I mean, because it's difficult to
It's not
use.
fun.
But
For work.
to do a little animation that I've been running in my art streams. So if you want to go and look at the first episode, that's in art stream number 2 that went out this week.
Yeah,
just
go
gone.
watch PETA's art streams. You can take part, and there's also a comic, isn't there? On
There is
Twitter.
a comic going on Twitter as well. Yeah, if you go to my Twitter account at that Peter Austin, go to the pinned tweet. There is a comic that's running where page by page, different members of the community are drawing a page. We're making it up as we go along. No one knows where it's going. It's Billy Ray Walrus. He's a private detective, and look out, Dick Mychinko is there, and someone stole his jungle skog. And Billy's going to find out who he got it back straight away, but Billy's going to find out who stole it in the first place. High stakes, really high stakes.
Really
so that's what
high
we've been
stakes.
playing. The movies, just purely to do an animation. There he is. They're both here. The
So
stars of the
flexible.
comic. I didn't really think about that, but they're right.
So flexible.
Oh,
Look at him.
God.
that's how you sound when you move.
It is whenever I do anything.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Look at him. There he is. Don't accidentally press a button, Richard.
Okay. Well done, Richard.
Ashton, what have you been playing?
So I had some friends around at the weekend. So I haven't played much, but I played a bit of Knowledge is Power because that game
Knowledge
is
is power.
so good. And of course, I was the hot dog because
Naturally.
you have to be the hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the way that when he does his little thrusts, his little hot dog dongle just
Yeah, he's got the little bit at the end where
Yeah.
it's tied
Wiener.
round.
yeah, his little
Yeah.
Vina. And his little
His little Winkler.
You're just playing with your doll over there.
I'm just exposing his like rock hard upper
Oh
body.
my
'Cause
God.
Richard is ripped, and I feel like
Wow.
it's criminal.
Has he got an 8-pack?
Looks like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he do.
Whoa, look at
He's-
that.
he's
He's
got
like the
muscles.
devils off of Ashton's
Yeah,
game.
I was gonna say.
He is
sexy
way
devil.
sexy. Can we just
Give him
pin
a
it? Sorry,
crop top.
this is not working.
I've
for
got a
them.
hair bubble we could use to
You-
tie it up.
Okay.
Oh, maybe I don't have a hair bubble.
Oh no, is it in
Oh.
your hair?
I haven't
No,
got my hair
your hair's
I'll
down.
tuck it. I'll tuck it
I
down
had
his
one.
pants.
Lost a hair bubble.
Hair bubbles always get lost. I find them all over my house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so do I. And I don't even live with a woman full time.
No.
And I still find them everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been playing Knowledge is Power, so I'm very distracted by what you're doing right
By the
now.
creaking.
Yeah. Sorry. And I played a bit of Dungeon Defenders.
Oh, I've
as
played that
well.
before.
Yeah, because there was 4 of us, and we didn't have 4 PlayStation 5 controllers, so we couldn't play like Overcooked or anything. Because the new Overcooked doesn't work with PS4 controllers as well. If it's a PS5 exclusive, so you can't use PS4 controllers
Right.
on it, which means I don't have 4 controllers, I only have 2. So we just have to play a different game.
When you say that, does that mean that some games also work with? You can use PS4 controllers?
Yeah,
for some
apparently
stuff?
you can.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But not if it's a PS5 exclusive. I don't know.
That's interesting.
But yeah, so we played Dungeon Defenders instead on Steam, and I really enjoyed that game. I think it's really fun.
Was the toilet noise was unrelated.
But yeah, I really like Dungeon Defenders. It's kind of traps like Orcs Must Die,
It
but
is very
more
similar.
like magic and shooting, and you've got like a little tiny knight with no trousers on, or a wizard.
A wizard.
A wizard!
in a pub between
Yeah,
levels.
in the tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's fun. I mean, there's 4 like split screen 4 characters on the one screen, so it's kind of difficult to see what's going on. And also, if you open the menu to like upgrade your character, it closes someone else's menu, so only
Oh.
one person can have the menu open at the same
How
time.
handy.
So like in between levels, if you've all leveled up and you've got like 80 seconds before the next wave come, and you're like, okay, who's gonna open the menu first? I'm gonna open it, and then someone else can go after me. But yeah, that happened a couple of times. I was like, my menu just keeps closing, and then somebody like, yeah, so does mine. And then we realized it's because someone else would be like, oh, I've got levels to upgrade, and just press the button to go into it.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, I really like Dungeon Defenders. It's the kind of first one. I think there's a second one as well,
Who's there?
but I haven't.
Oh, Richard.
But I haven't played that one. So yeah, I've played Knowledge is Power and Dungeon
I've
Defenders
not played
this
Dungeon
weekend.
Defenders in years. I used to play it with my friends, like not split screen. We would just play online.
yeah,
together.
normally we play
And
online.
At the time, I was playing on a laptop that used to get very warm, and I would play at maybe 20 FPS. You know, like just barely playable.
Yeah.
Just
You
a
know,
little
you can
PowerPoint
See what's
presentation.
happening? Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm hoping that next week's podcast I'll have more to talk about because I'm finally going to have internet this weekend. And
Yes.
I'm also finally going to get my desk, my PC, and my PlayStation 4.
Whoa.
So finally, I'm going to actually be able to play games
You can play Life
during
is
the
Strange.
week. Oh my, I'm really excited. Ben's lent me his copy of Life is Strange, and I'm really excited to play it. And I've got lots of games to catch up on that I haven't been able to play for the last 3 weeks. So I'm really excited.
Has Lost in Random just come out now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep seeing it all over my
I saw someone talking about it this
my
morning. I was like,
Twitter feed.
oh, is that out?
Yeah, it
I was-
came out last week, I think.
I was maybe going to play that. We could have even covered it in a Quip Scope. It's a bit late now, but that's
Yeah.
sort of quietly released.
Yeah, it came out last week, I think. But yeah, it was like, there was like loads of posts about it. And then suddenly they were like, out now. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was coming out this quickly.
77% on Metacritic.
Oh,
Right.
that's pretty good.
I might give it a go and
Yeah,
have
let
a
us
chat
know.
about it.
I also want to play Deathloop, but I'm not going to buy it yet.
Deathloop.
Apparently it's really good.
Yeah, reviews are great.
saying.
So
Still not asked though.
No, me
Weirdly,
neither.
I think I'll wait
I am
until
kind of,
until
but I just-
Crimbles.
I've not watched any like
Need to wait for
proper
payday.
gameplay there. I've only watched the promotional stuff. So maybe if I watch the first sort of 15 minutes
Yeah,
on
I've-
someone's YouTube
I have watched
channel.
some gameplay. and I
Fraser's
think it's
liking it.
pretty good.
Our
Yeah, he
social
is.
media community
Yeah.
manager man, he is enjoying it. So,
So maybe on payday I'll treat myself to Deathloop. Just gonna have to wait a couple of weeks.
Ooh.
Got to pay rent and stuff first.
Nah, screw that.
Not used to
And
that.
Just Deathloop.
And internet, yeah.
Just Deathloop.
Just Deathloop.
Is that what you played?
You've been playing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I've been playing. Oh, no. I finished off Judgment, as I said that I would last week when we
Oh
recorded.
yeah.
I was honestly, by the time it finished, I was kind of glad it was over because it honestly dragged towards the end. It just went on and on and on. I like the game, but I'm not going to get the sequel at launch.
It's just like a Plague Tale.
I would say slightly less so because A Plague Tale really did get very dark.
Dragged on, and you won't be
towards the
buying
end.
the next one at launch.
But yeah, in that sense, yes. Judgment is a good game, and I would recommend it for Yakuza fans who probably aren't too sure about it. But it's, it took me like 25-ish hours to finish, and I feel like it could have been 15 hours long. What are you doing to her hair?
I would want her to do the same for me.
Thank you.
Just flattening it down a little bit.
You did
for
have
her.
a big
getting a
old
bit
tuft of
crazy.
hair the other day, and she didn't do it for you. But neither did I. But that would have been weird.
No one ever
if I-
does.
you know,
When we were doing the podcast?
I
Or?
don't know. Just at some point, Peter's hair sometimes just sort of does it.
Yeah, but sometimes with men's hair, that's just how it goes. You can't really do
Just
anything
be
about
like
it.
that.
My hair doesn't
Unless
do
you wet it.
wet it.
Yeah, like if you wet
Wet
it
it.
and stick it down.
Unless you wet yourself. in
Wet
which
it.
case it's fun.
Yes.
Apart from that, I used PlayStation Now to play Near Automata, and I got the platinum, and I finished it in like 2 days, and I
And
stayed up until
didn't-
4 a.m.
Did you get the trophies legit? Did
Oh,
you
absolutely.
do the little
Oh,
shop?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I did. Yeah, just used.
Did you get any of the trophies, like the endings, or did you just finish it once?
Oh, I
and
did.
then-
No, I played it properly. I got the
Yeah.
true ending. So I played through it once all the way. I played through it twice all the way from another perspective.
Yeah.
Played through it a third time from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And then played through it. And then there was like an additional thing you could do to get the fourth and true ending, which
Yeah.
wasn't a full playthrough. Now, I've heard a lot about this game, and the people who like it are crazy mad about it. And I must say, I do kind of understand. While I didn't really stick around to smell the roses and do all the side quests and stuff, I was very happy to discover that because it's a game that is notorious for the fact that you have to play it through several times to experience the full story, that it's not a very long game.
Yeah.
I finished it in about 8 hours. And then the second playthrough was slightly shorter because it had a lot of shared cutscenes. The third playthrough was completely different, but again, it was sort of a similar length. And then the fourth ending was literally just a decision you make right at the end. It deals with a lot of philosophical concepts, which were really interesting. And I did watch a few YouTube videos afterwards of people dissecting it. And, it was one of those games that stuck with me. I did stay up until 4 a.m. to finish it, which I haven't done for a long time. Like, I just,
Wow.
part of me knew that I was close to the end, but another part of me was actually just really enjoying it. And I was enjoying playing it. So I would recommend it. If you haven't played it, I was pleasantly surprised by this. I just thought it was going to be one of those games that couldn't possibly live up to the expectations that people had set for it. But I understand it is a unique, strange game that people should play if they have the time because, it does require several playthroughs. But I had nothing to do at the weekend, so I just played it all day. Beyond that, I played some Demon Souls. I am acting as the Souls Sherpa for one of my friends who's never played it before.
Nice.
Has a PS5, so sort of helping him through that. I'm really enjoying it. What's not to love about Demon's Souls? Life is Strange True Colors. There's a Quip Scope on the channel now. I've still only played the first hour because I haven't really had time to play any more of it, but I am looking forward to diving into that again when I get a moment. Seems great. I do like Life is Strange. And finally, I played like 2.5 hours of Oblivion on PlayStation Now, streaming it.
Yeah.
And it actually worked fine.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Which is surprising. Although having spoken to my friend who also has PlayStation Now, apparently the quality and the durability of streaming games varies massively depending upon the game. However, Oblivion worked great and I really enjoyed it until I didn't. And now I'm never going to play it again.
You mean just because of
Just got
Oblivion?
bored.
Yeah.
Just got bored. And Oblivion's one of my favorite ever games. And I have a feeling, given my not hatred, but distaste for Skyrim, having overdosed on it in 2011 and never been able to go back to it since, that maybe it's just the Bethesda model of RPGs, perhaps.
Maybe.
Just that open world, like, go on, off you go, with no real through line in terms of a strong plot, because neither Oblivion or Skyrim have a good main quest line, really. And I get that that's the appeal for a lot of people. Perhaps I'm coming to terms with the fact that maybe my tastes have changed in games.
Maybe.
And after the initial fun of going through the tutorial dungeon, which is one of my favorite sort of, chunks of games ever, that first bit.
Or the Oblivion tutorial dungeon.
Yeah, where you
Really?
go through, and you get you can stay in there and get your sneak skill up to 100 if you just rubber band the controller behind the goblin. You find all the stuff. I love that little opening of the game. I don't know why.
Where the rat comes through the wall. Yeah.
Love it. And then I went into the Imperial City. I was like, I'm not going to steal anything. And then I saw all the things in the glass cases, and I was like, I'm going to steal everything.
It's mine now.
I still prefer the art style to Skyrim.
Yeah, I
more
do.
Colourful,
Yeah.
almost cartoony look. Things look more appealing in people's shops when you go in there.
Yeah.
Just all laid out nicely. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I think I'll have that. Thank you very much.
This belongs to me now.
Yeah. So
And the landscape's nicer, I would
the
say.
landscape is lovely. Obviously, it's dated massively,
Yeah.
but aged a lot.
And you
but
can't sprint either.
you can't
I
sprint.
think I would struggle with that
That's
going back
true.
to Oblivion. That's
Yeah,
just
there's a
one
lot
thing.
of quality of life improvements
Yeah.
in Skyrim for sure. But I have to give it up for PlayStation Now. I've been very impressed with my 1 month subscription. The selection of games on offer is nowhere near as good as Game Pass. And until they put all of the first party PlayStation games on there day one, they have no chance of having PlayStation Now be even close to a competitor to Xbox Game Pass. But functionality-wise and structurally, PlayStation Now is actually a lot better than I remember it being. So that's great.
I only tried it once a long time ago to play BioShock. And yeah, it was... You could tell there was a slight latency in your aiming and shooting, to the point where it would just... Occasionally you would miss and you would be pissed off about it because you knew it wasn't your fault.
It's not your fault, yeah. And to be clear, it's the PlayStation 3 games. The ones that you can't really play anymore. You have to stream those. You can't download them. But PS4 games, you can download them and just play them straight off your console. And there we are. That's what I've been playing.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, it's time for question 2 at the
37 minutes.
The 37-minute mark. Yeah.
Hey, these podcasts are long now.
They are.
Yeah. This comes from Richard Group, and it says,
So it does.
"Hey guys, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 online." That's what that says, isn't it?
Yes.
That's
No, it says
that's
it's
14.
Final Fantasy Ziv is how
Ziv.
it's said.
Final Fantasy taught me Roman
I
numerals.
always
Up to 50.
get confused with Roman numerals. And I find it funny that MMORPGs have a chosen one story that thousands of people play through. Do you have any weird meta things that you find funny that games take too seriously? Or seem to take seriously?
I definitely, the first time I played an MMO, it was probably like, RuneScape will have been the first one, if you call that an MMO, which I suppose it is. And then it will have been Guild Wars. And I remember finding it very weird just seeing loads and loads of people all going and talking to the same person in like one area.
Yeah.
That always just looks so strange to
60
me.
people trying to chop down the same tree.
Yeah, it just kind of ruins it a bit. Because the worlds in those games are normally pretty interesting and, big scale on them and stuff. But yeah, when it's just... people clearly just farming and grinding. It kind of takes
bots,
it out.
especially in RuneScape, there's a lot of bots that just do it. Are there any MMOs where you are just nobody?
Yeah, I
You're
don't know.
you're just a complete loser. And
Second
that's
Life.
the whole point. Yeah, well, I suppose you have to be a loser to play Second Life. I'm joking. The people who play Second Life will find out where you live and they will burn
Yeah,
it
they
down.
will.
So
Yeah, you'll get
enjoy your
doxed.
Second Life.
They'll only find out where you live in Second Life,
Yeah.
because they don't leave their house.
Second Life does look fascinating. Though.
It does look
I
very
would love to
interesting.
give it.
I watched a YouTube documentary about prostitutes in Second
Oh,
Life.
yeah. Not where I
Yes,
thought you
yeah,
were
that's
going
another
with that.
People Makes Games video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went in and talked to like the brothel. There's like a
A
brothel.
brothel
And do
in
they-
Second Life.
Do these, and presumably the prostitutes do sort of animations on
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
sort
more of like a
talk down
strip
the
club
microphone.
/
Yeah,
just like sex work.
a lot
in
like
general.
Wow.
a lot like a great deal of real sex work, from what I understand.
Yeah.
A lot of it's about companionship, and I think
Yeah.
they pay for people's time to talk to them and
Yeah.
and like just hang out. And yes, there are sexy things, and they do make noises down the microphone. But I think a lot of it is companionship, really.
And
It's
hey,
quite
it's
interesting.
probably a safer way of doing it than
Yeah, everyone involved's much
IRL.
safer, I'd have thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, I was just wondering whether to say like, hey, do you know what? That should just be like, it should be legal, and it should be like just controlled
sex
by
work?
the government.
Absolutely.
Or you're not controlled.
Yeah,
but
just
what's the
make
word?
it safe.
Put in provisions to make sure people are safe.
Yeah.
What's the sanctioned?
Yeah, no, there's
Taxed?
No,
fucking no.
well, it'll come to me. But anyway, there we go. I was just debating whether to say that. I've said it now.
Yeah.
Sex work is real work.
Yeah.
It
Whatever
is.
the phrase is.
Do you know what I think is funny when it's taken very seriously? Just broadly, David Cage and Dark Pictures anthology games. They're taken very seriously by the developers / writers.
But then they undermine themselves.
Yeah, and it's funny because of how seriously they're taking it, and I do think that even definitely David thinks that his stuff is actually,
Oh, David thinks he's the coolest
Yeah.
guy ever.
but even Dark Pictures Anthology, which you can tell, you've got to hope anyway, that they are going for horror tropes. You
Yeah.
know, the cheerleader, the
Schlock,
jock.
yeah.
Yeah, you can tell that that's intentional, but I still think that they think the final product of the game, despite its tropiness, is like kind of, oh yeah, wow. Oh,
This is great. You can
We've
make
really
a horror,
done something.
horror
Yeah.
film as a game. Yeah, playable horror film.
That's what they think. And the fact that that whole corner of gaming, you know,
However,
exists.
I will say, as someone who doesn't like horror films but does keep an eye on, like Metacritic averages, especially of movies, horror films very rarely score particularly highly
They're never
or
very
well.
good.
So that may well be, you're bang on, that may be exactly what they're going for.
Well,
is
yeah.
We are as good as horror movies, which is, when it equates to
It's a low
games,
bar.
not that great,
Yeah.
but still fun.
Yeah. And also just broadly, I just think JRPGs are a bit kind of strange.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Of course they are.
I mean, that's a very broad umbrella, but like, the sort of intense fantasy ones where everyone's got crazy hair, everyone's got a sword that's bigger than them. They all talk.
You'd love Nier Automata.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Everyone's brooding. Do you remember that one that was shown at E3? It was a new Final Fantasy one, wasn't it? Or what was it? Was it a Final Fantasy
I know what
spin-off?
yeah, sort of. I know exactly what you
Yeah.
mean. Is the one where he's wearing the shirt and it's got like the diagonal strip at the bottom?
Yeah,
And
there
you
was like
can
a
steal
guy on
his
a
look.
throne.
And he says he's going to kill Chaos or something.
Yeah.
That one. I can't remember what it's called. I played the demo and I wasn't
I don't know.
bothered by it.
But just that, when we sat and watched that trailer and we're doing our reactions, our reaction was the same. It was,
Yeah.
it's a JRPG, isn't it? And they take it very seriously. And again, maybe there's, it's not aimed to appeal to me. I'm not the target market, and I'm sure that people who are into that,
Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
there it is.
Oh, yeah. I know the one you're talking about now. Yeah.
It's not designed for me. It's not meant to appeal to me. And the people who it is designed for probably do think this is actually really cool. And I think this is like actually quite rad. And that's fine. That's okay. People are entitled to their own sexual proclivities. But for me, I just think it takes itself so seriously, but just looks daft to me from the outside.
It's almost like wrestling in a way.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't buy into it, it's so easy to tear down.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of the point of it. You sort of have to be all in.
Regulated is the word.
Regulated.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
We got there.
Sex work should be regulated. Anyway, those are things that I think are taken too seriously in an amusing way. Ashton.
Similar to the kind of MMORPG, like chosen one situation, I think it's really funny when you've got a character that is fully customizable to the point where it's ridiculous looking, and it's just stood in a cutscene or being spoken to about a really serious topic, and they're just in the background, just like vibing, like with this horrible, like
purple hair
flat
that's like
face
pointing
or like
at
eyes
you.
that are looking the wrong way.
It's Shrek in the cutscene.
Basically, because I remember I was playing Mass Effect before, like the original one, and I designed a shepherd that was like a shepherd that looked like a frog, like fully flat faced.
Oh, I thought you meant that you actually made Shepherd a shepherd somehow, like gave him a sort of.
She had like the tiniest nose and like the biggest eyes, and she just looked ridiculous. And she'd just be in all these situations where they'd be like, "Oh, you're Commander Shepard, the hero of the world," and she'd just be there like, "Yes,
Ribbit.
that is me, Ribbit."
Ribbit.
And I just loved watching like in these ridiculous situations. And why would you make it so I can
Crewmates
customize?
falling in love with her.
Yeah, she's got
So
like
beautiful.
so beautiful. But yeah, I just remember that's like one of my favorite moments of the game. And I just think it's so funny when you've got these games that allow you to customize a character to such extent, and then they're like, "And you're the main character. You get to do all of the important things, and everyone in the game respects you, and doesn't matter that you look the way that you look." And it just cracks me up. So yeah, I think it's funny when that's the situation.
This kind of stuff happens in Soulsborne games as well, where you're like, you are the one who can insert whatever the thing is you're meant to be doing in that Soulsborne game. And then there are co-op partners. Like you can summon people in or be invaded by another player. And it's sort of the meta and the narrative that creates is, so he was there to link the first flame, but he decided to like go off on his jollies for a couple of days just to be a dick to other people in different realities.
Right.
And then he came back and saved the world. But lest we forget, he was an asshole for a while. Really weird. And also the created characters as well. You can really make some monsties in the Soulsborne games. And whenever they're in a cutscene, they just stood there just like, and then, they've got the weird face and they're like bright purple. And it's very bizarre. My example that I remember quite clearly is Resistance Fall of Man, the PS3 launch game. You can play that campaign in co-op, which is great.
Yes, I was just thinking that exact same thing.
But your co-op partner is a complete stranger.
No one ever talks
Someone
to him.
who is never shown in any cutscenes,
Right.
doesn't even have a name.
I think
No
he
one
has
mentions
got a name,
him.
I think.
Does he?
Yeah, I think because the main character is called Jack. I think.
Nathan Hale.
I think they do call him something very similar, but like only once right at the beginning of the game.
Oh,
and
really?
then that might be maybe the other Resistance game.
And Resistance 3
'Cause you
is
can do
also
that as a-
co-op, but he is
I think
a
that might be the
character.
one, I think.
He's still not in any cutscenes.
No, and he's
but
still
he
never
is-
spoken to.
He is someone who exists in the world, whereas in
Yeah.
Resistance 1, it's just a
Right, okay, I was wrong,
complete stranger.
Yeah.
It doesn't. He's not in any cutscenes. In all the cutscenes, it's Nathan Hale heroically saving the day, and then it cuts back to gameplay, and this guy stood there like,
I was here
All right.
too, guys.
Yeah.
fine. I was here for the whole adventure, but it doesn't matter. And then in subsequent games, Nathan Hale saved Britain from the Chimera invasion, and the other guy just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So that's always fun when games are meant to be single player, but they give you co-op, and then the co-op partner
Yeah.
is never acknowledged in any sense.
Yeah.
There's like a really subtle thing in Halo 1 where if you play that in co-op, right at the beginning of the game, you just like go from where you wake up in your cryopod and you walk to the bridge of the ship and you talk to the captain and the cutscene runs. And then at the end of that, he hands you his pistol and it cuts to gameplay and he goes, "I don't keep it loaded, so you'll have to find ammo as you go." But when you come back in after that cutscene, you are player 1 is standing right in front of the captain, and player 2 is just sort of off to the side, looking at the two of them, and he just hands him a gun and says, "I don't keep it loaded," and you're just, as player 2, you're just like, "Oh, all right, okay, fine."
Thanks, guys.
And it's just in the moment, it kind of feels a bit like. Hello, we're two
also
Spartans
here.
on this ship. We're definitely gonna save the day with two of us. But yeah, it's kind of a strange one.
That's what I liked about.
Does Dying Light do the same thing as well, or is it a different game that has zombies and like parkour situation? Because there is Dying Light, I think, but I think in the first one you can play.
Yeah, you can play
co-op.
online co-op.
But
yeah.
again, like, and also in that one it's really weird because if you complete a mission with a friend, you don't complete the mission. Like if you go back and play it on your own, you have to do the missions again. It's really weird. But I think that has similar the fact that there's two players, but it's a solo campaign.
It's only about one guy.
Yeah.
That is what I liked about Sackboy: A Big Adventure. If you were playing in multiplayer, your partner would show up in the cutscenes and they would react appropriately. Like there would be space for them to appear in cutscenes and go, "Oh no, the Negatron," or whatever the hell it was called. Yeah, there we are.
I thought of one real quick one as well. Yeah. I like how in games like Oblivion, you can go and like activate a side quest and someone will say, "Oh, cool, I'll meet you this evening at the docks." And then they will be there every single night for the rest of time if you don't complete that quest. They have to go every evening for the rest of their lives to be there. At 8 p.m., they will be there. I think that's great and stupid. It's ridiculous.
It's really
It's really stupid.
Let's move on to something a little bit strange. It's called Weird News. It's weird news time. Time for some weird video game news. Peter, what strange video game news do you have?
I've got a strange video game news submitted to us on our weird news tweet that goes out on Twitter a couple of days before we record the podcast. Also, it goes out on Facebook, doesn't it? I presume.
It does, yes.
This is submitted by 2 people and possibly on Facebook as well. I've not checked. I'll have a look when they're doing their news. It's from Michael Milan at Lord of Penguins on Twitter, but he's used zeros instead of O's.
Very cool.
And also Robert Mansell at _Rob_Mansell_.
It wasn't submitted on Facebook.
It wasn't submitted on Facebook. Okay, good to know. This is according to Screen Rant by Lara Jackson. Super Smash.
I am for real. Sorry.
Super Smash.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Never meant to make your daughter cry.
Super Smash Bros. Petitioned by PETA to add its mascot to the game.
By PETA?
PETA? Yeah. Please bring up Billy Ray Walrus to the game.
Rubbish, Peter.
Thank you, Miss Jackson, for this story. I am for real. So Super Smash Bros. Have been petitioned by PETA to add their mascot to the game.
Don't really like PETA.
No. PETA is No, me neither. He's an arsehole. He's an arsehole. PETA is petitioning Nintendo to add its mascot, Not a Nugget, to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, making the chick character the game's final fighter. There is a picture of Not a Nugget.
Can I just say, Not a Nugget is a horrible name.
Isn't it?
You can't just call something Not a Nugget.
No.
Put a bit of thought into it, Peter. Jesus.
Can you stop laying into me so much? Controversial animal rights group PETA is petitioning Nintendo to add its mascot to the incredibly successful fighting game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The final Smash Bros. DLC fighter has not yet been announced by Nintendo, but PETA believes that its Not a Nugget character should be the game's next challenger.
No.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's been decided by Nintendo representative Ashton Matthews. Super Smash Bros.
I own Atari, actually.
First released for Nintendo Switch in 2018 and has since added to its roster of fighters through individually purchasable DLC challenger packs or fighter pass bundles. The game's DLC has introduced 10 new characters to the game so far, including fighters such as Persona 5's Joker, Banjo and Kazooie, and Minecraft's Steve and Alex. The DLC packs also add new stages and additional music. This is all just filler, isn't it?
Yep.
The 11th Challenger Pack character still remains a mystery, but with just one Super Smash Bros. Fighter left to be revealed, the fan base is already speculating on who it may be.
Well, it ain't going to be Not a Nugget.
I didn't realise there was like a quota of how many they had. I thought they just would keep going forever.
Well, yes, they've said this will be our last one.
The final.
Yeah, I agree.
Boy.
I don't think it's going to be Not a Nugget.
In a press release, PETA has called upon Nintendo. This is about the 4th time this sentence has been rewritten in this article so far. It's called upon Nintendo to add Not a Nugget as the final Smash Bros. Ultimate fighter. The organization believes that Not a Nugget's inclusion in the Nintendo hit would, quote, spotlight animals' capabilities and encourage gamers to help take down speciesism, the human supremacist view that allows us to turn sensitive birds into nuggets and eat them. Ashton.
Just a quick one. Surely PETA knows the content of the Smash Bros. So would we not just watch this little not a nugget get absolutely beaten to death
by space
over and over
wizards,
again
Burned by
space wizards,
Charizard.
by dragons?
Also, there are Pokemon in there. They
Yeah.
are creatures.
Well,
Kind
PETA
of.
hates Pokemon.
yeah, well,
as a
PETA hates
franchise.
PETA hates
PETA hates
animals.
everything. PETA
It's
hates people
ridiculous.
and
We'll get to the
animals.
Pokemon thing in a moment.
They don't like
Oh,
anything.
why do we still give?
They
This
just
isn't-
hate
It
nuggets.
gets
This isn't
worse.
your fault, Peter. But why does anybody give PETA any oxygen? They just exist to make headlines.
They do. They've
and
only
cause
done this.
controversy.
They
They're
don't
just
actu-
assholes.
They know that Not a Nugget would never be added to Smash Bros, but they knew that
It
headlines
also doesn't make
would be
any
written about this.
sense. Like, at least pick a game that makes sense.
There are more quotes here, and they're going to make you
Jeez.
madder. So take a breath for the next 3 seconds.
I'm gonna have a salt.
PETA has even suggested how Not a Nugget could be used in the game, with spinach and tofu consumed to restore health, a stun gun, quote, repurposed from a slaughterhouse, and a, quote, terrifying grinder like the ones used by the egg industry to grind up male chicks. PETA Vice President Joel Bartlett explained. PETA's Not a Nugget mascot could use his wits, wings, weapons, and vegan fuel to pummel opponents and remind people that chickens are cool, three-dimensional animals, not food. We hope Nintendo will jazz up its game by adding our fluffy foe of animal exploitation to the fray. Okay.
Joel, you're an idiot.
To accompany its petition, PETA tweeted 2 screenshots of Not a Nugget as a fighter created by the company. Here they are. Screenshot number 1.
Sorry, can I touch your phone?
Do you want me to put the brightness up? It's a bit dark.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to zoom in.
rubbish.
And swipe,
It's like
swipe over.
It's horrible.
And there's the other one. He's just down in the character selection.
Where's the screenshot where he gets absolutely blasted off the screen?
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see him put someone else in a grinder, because how is that, promoting not speciesism or whatever?
Yeah.
Links to this article in the description of the podcast.
Ken from Street Fighter is just going to beat the crap out of this
If
bird,
you
and
want
it's going to
to
completely
see
defeat
the
the point.
PETA has a long history with Nintendo, previously criticizing a number of Nintendo games that the organization believes infringe on animal rights. Good way to endear a company into adding your character to its game. PETA has accused Pokemon, a series that features animal-like creatures battling each other, of condoning animal abuse.
Yeah.
Had to read that twice. While Super Mario's Tanuki suit has also come under fire from the organization for allegedly encouraging the wearing of animal fur.
Yeah, that's what that meant.
Yeah, we covered this in a recent list, actually. It's on the channel. Times that... I can't remember the wording. But it's got Pokemon in the thumbnail because it's the PETA story. Last year, PETA staged a protest of Animal Crossing New Horizons due to players needing to collect fish and bugs to complete their island museum. Nintendo hasn't responded to PETA at the time of writing, but it seems unlikely the Smash Bros. Developer would add Not a Nugget to the game. The article continues, but I'm going to stop there.
PETA are the worst.
They
Yeah.
suck.
They should just go away. They don't do anything good.
They don't do anything good for animals. They don't do anything good for people. They just do
They
it
take
to
such
make
a
money.
militant hard line while also doing their own fair share of damage to animals.
Like, they
just,
campaign to get all pit bulls put down.
They're terrible.
They hate pit bulls.
They are a terrible,
Did they do
terrible
that? Wow.
organization. And
That's horrid.
Yeah.
they don't deserve any support or any oxygen. And the only reason they do this stuff is to get headlines.
Yeah, literally.
There's no through line here for them at all. Like, there's no purpose. They don't want the chick in the game.
No.
They just want people to talk about them. It's sort
And
of
we're
like the
doing
Westboro-
exactly what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
We are.
It's the Westboro Baptist Church approach, which is they know that they're not going to convert anyone with their actions. They just want to be controversial and for people to, to never be left out of the conversation.
Yeah, so they go and picket funerals and
It's
stuff.
terrible.
Yeah.
They're just awful. I'm not saying PETA picket funerals. I'm not even saying they're
No.
as bad as the West Baptist Church, whatever. But it's a similar approach, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
It is. I completely agree. It's a waste of oxygen, but equally, it was one of the weirder news stories this
It is
week.
weird.
So
It is weird.
It did have to come along.
Yeah.
Ashton.
I have news that was sent in by Ethan Lawrence at Ethan D. Lawrence on Twitter and Cameron J. Keyword at Cameron_Keyword on Twitter. Ethan, by the way, won an NTA this week. National Television Awards.
Oh, congratulations, Ethan. Yeah,
So-
for Afterlife.
For Afterlife, yeah. So, famous fans, we have them, just in case you weren't
Where
sure.
are our NTAs? We get played on television sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Can Ethan just get Ricky Gervais to just plug us everywhere?
Ethan, can we
Yeah.
have your NTA?
Yeah.
Can we have your NTA?
Yeah, we'll put it up in the office.
Well done, though. Congratulations.
Well done.
This comes from Luke Plunkett Kotaku.
Of course it does.
Who apparently was leaving, but I don't know if he is anymore because he's still there. So I guess we'll never know. He'll just disappear one day and we won't notice. NFT game steals artwork, gets called out, and deletes account.
Yeah.
NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are an environmental disaster and an enormous scam.
If you follow Luke on Twitter, he hates
Yeah.
NFT. He often tweets about how much he despises NFT.
Yeah.
I saw this article at the time, and that sentence that Ashton just read is hyperlinked to a previous ranty
Yeah, it
article
is.
that
Is
he
it?
has done
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Wow.
And perhaps the funniest thing about their persistence is how little effort purveyors of this modern snake oil put into it. Take Epic Hero Battles, for example, a blockchain-based game on the Ethereum network. It was trying to sell 10,000 NFTs that consisted of a randomly generated hero and their pet, which could be put into battle with either prize to win either prizes or more NFTs. I'm not sure how randomly generated they would have been, though, because despite the well-worn and by September 2021 shown to be entirely bull poo claim that NFTs are all about artists and ownership of their work, for its main page, the game creators decided to just straight up steal a piece of key art from the indie game Wildfire, which came out last year and is pretty damn good. And then they've got a side-by-side of the Wildfire
I did see
game.
this tweet at the time.
Yeah.
I think Luke Plunkett retweeted it, actually. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, probably. After Wildfire's creator Dan Hines called the game creators out on Twitter at 52K likes and counting, Epic Hero Battles creators removed Hines' artwork from their page and publicly responded saying, "Hi guys, I want to say about the art that was used on the site. We got it from the web dev, but we didn't check it. Our mistake. This won't happen again. Honestly." That's
Honestly?
Really?
Honestly, promise.
We'll give you $5,000 if it
Yeah.
does.
An innocent mistake or not. Since the theft of Wildfire's assets with the theft of Wildfire's assets out in the open, other folks have started going through Epic Hero Battles website and Twitter account and found more art that had been stolen. The game's Twitter
promise.
profile picture, lifted straight from this artist's Tumblr post. Okay, so link. That's why it doesn't make sense. This big piece of art announcing the game's roadmap for the future that's below. Hold on, I can't read this. This big piece of art announcing the game's roadmap for the future that's below, stolen wholesale from this very cool piece of pixel art by Boki Boki. There's
Boki.
there's the roadmap.
That's a lovely
Yeah,
piece of
but
art.
stolen. Rather than try to I've clicked on an ad. Rather than try to respond to this fresh allegations of theft, or perhaps be forced to put even the slightest amount of their own work, the creators of Epic Battles have simply deleted their Twitter account instead, and while its website is still active, it's now missing almost all of its art, leaving in their wake a big grey mass. In the meantime, you can buy Wildfire here.
I don't
And
understand
then just-
NFTs. I
No,
really
I don't.
And I thought it was just sort of
It's
like a
delete
cryptocurrency kind of thing where this is a big deal, but you don't necessarily have to be involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people take it really seriously. And I just don't understand.
I don't really. I still don't really get how it works. I'm aware of like what blockchain is, and like it's kind of like everything is accountable to everyone else, and you can't like copy and change stuff. And but it's just it's not a real thing. Like the thing that you own is not tangible.
No.
So why? But I don't know. There's probably lots of things that people have paid money for decades, if not hundreds of years, that are not exactly real in that sense. So I don't know. I don't really.
It's true. I mean, we buy digital games, but you know, you can do something with that.
Yeah.
To buy an image, how can you be the owner? How you along
Because
with
you're not always the copyright owner of it.
10,000 owners of this image or whatever? I don't. Someone's listening and like smashing their head into their keyboard because we're getting it completely wrong.
NFTs are
But-
also really bad for the environment.
Yes, they have to be mined and stuff, don't they? Or something.
I don't really understand how because it's all online, but apparently it's really bad for the environment.
I just don't like. It's so
to
stupid.
mind.
Even if it does make sense and it's lucrative from a financial sense, it's really stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested
No.
at all. It's just if I'm going to buy something, I want something tangible, even if it's digital.
I mean, Bitcoin
Yeah,
made
no.
a bit of sense, but this makes even less sense.
Because it's
than
not
Bitcoin.
digital art. It's not like you're buying, say, here's this picture.
yeah.
Because I could go onto Etsy or DeviantArt or something and say, hey, will you draw a digital art for me? I will pay you. And then I get a copy of that. That is digital art. That's existed for, years. But like NFTs of where you get the NFT of a piece of art is different to that. But I don't understand how
Even though
or
you
why.
can just save a copy of it to your
yeah,
desktop.
like
Yeah.
legally.
But it's not yours, but it is the person's who owns the NFT. But you can't really do it. Maybe you can resell it.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
don't-
basically it. I think you
Yeah.
can just reset. I guess it's like money isn't really real. Money is actual cash, and money doesn't exist. But because people have faith in it, that's why it works as a system. Because people value the notion of a dollar.
Stop.
I don't understand.
Stop.
So if enough people are like, I want to buy some ripped off pixel art, then it has value
no.
instantly. That's how it works, I guess.
Don't.
I don't understand.
It's nearly midday.
Sorry.
It's too early for this
Yeah, it is.
philosophical money debate.
Well, let's go from that to something weird.
Yeah.
With a weird
Let's go
news
really
from
weird.
Ben.
I found this one on my own with no help from any of you, and it's
Oh
also
my
quite
God.
recent. Kotaku, Luke Plunkett, gamer dislocates shoulder while celebrating tournament victory.
Oh.
It says, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and welcome to Video Game." Congratulations are in order for Cake Assault, who over the weekend won a huge Rivals of Ether tournament, overcoming not just the competing fields, but also the limitations and fragilities of the human body. Please scroll.
Amazing.
The Rivals of Ether Showdown was part of the Riptide Show held in Sandusky, Ohio between September the 10th and 12th, which also featured tournaments for games like Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Melee and Splatoon 2. But it's the Rivals final we're looking at here, when Cake Assault wins and then absolutely loses his flip. Do you want to see? Have you seen him?
I saw it this morning.
Is this him dislocating his shoulder?
Yeah, you don't see it dislocate.
Okay.
It doesn't look dislocated at all. But he reacts.
So he's winning. He's going for it.
Oh my god, I'm so.
And then he falls down because he went way too hard.
So for those who haven't seen this, again, the
It's a lot
link
of arm.
the link will be available in the description. But yeah, if you're
See
watching
that
on
video?
YouTube, he just like
Kind
power
of, I
fists
kind of
into
hurt
the
my
sky.
arm doing that.
Over
yeah,
and
he's like
over.
going, yeah.
And then he does it so far that
And then
his
it just
own
falls
arm
on the
comes
ground.
out of its socket.
This actually happened. Sorry to bring it around to wrestling, but this also has happened to people like during their entrances when they're walking down, they're going, yeah, come on. And one guy just did it way too hard and went, oh, I've separated my shoulder.
And did they just
Now I need 6 months on
push
the
it
show.
back in? Or...
Well, they did the match, but because they're silly wrestlers, and then they were just off injured for like half a year.
The idea of dislocating something makes me feel sick.
yeah.
Yes, same. Dude is celebrating like he just won the Champions League final on penalties. I love it. Only catch though is that that whole part, where he collapses to the ground in complete agony, silencing the crowd in the process, which he later explains was due to the fact that he popped off so hard that his shoulder took things a little too literally. Then there's a tweet here. Also, I fell on the ground during that pop off because I dislocated my shoulder. LMAO.
Lol.
tweet.
Well, at least he's happy.
Lamau.
about it.
Most I've ever hurt myself gaming was grinding the skin off my thumb during a Gran Turismo endurance race, so a football field level injury, while celebrating no less, is actually one hell of an achievement. Hope you're feeling better, dude.
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks,
you go.
Luke.
That's a good one.
Thank you, Luke.
Wow.
That's weird news.
We did it.
Time for question 3.
From
From Cameron Keywood, who submitted Ashton's story. Cameron action today.
Thank you, Cameron.
Hello, Bap. After watching last week's podcast and being a Welsh boy, I'll give you a warning, but one more strike and you're coming with us.
Why do you ruin everything fun?
Yeah.
Might be because of Peter's Welsh accent.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
Drippy from Nino Cooney reminds me of a man in the next street from mine. In voice, not looks. We don't have a sentient lamp men in Wales.
Yeah, you do.
We don't have sentient lamp
We
men
saw
Wales.
them in Nino Cooney.
Yeah.
Anyhow, On to my question. Insomniac announced 2 brand new games for release in the future, and with 3 PS5 releases already under their belt and achieved without crunch, are Insomniac the premier studio in gaming? And if not, then who do you think is? Tan i tro nesaf, or Until Next Time.
Oh, that was your third one.
That was my third.
That was
yeah.
his- oh
I
my
am
God.
coming. It says it on there.
You're
though.
coming
It's
with
not-
us.
He has written that.
I mean, I was thinking about this, and if you depends what yardsticks you're using to measure,
Yeah.
quality of games, maybe time taken to develop games, like output rate,
Orcs that must die.
how many orcs must die, and also whether there is a load of crunch, and they're known for crunch, as is mentioned in Cameron's question. If you factor all that in, I think Insomniac is actually a pretty good bet, because my go-to when people say, who do you think is the sort of the quote-unquote best studio at the moment, I kind of go to Naughty Dog initially, because, I think The Last of Us is great. I think Uncharted's great. But, number one, takes them a while to produce games.
That's a new
The
noise.
pipes are screaming, oh, Danny boy.
That was a really weird wail from inside the building.
It's coming from inside the house.
It feels like it takes Naughty Dog. It's happening again. It's not going to let me speak.
It's also not going to pick up on the microphone.
No, it won't. No
But
one will
do
hear
an
that.
impression. Still
It's getting higher. Oh, it's going up and up.
Whoa!
You guys can't hear any
What
of
a
this.
room!
Loads.
Really picked the best room for the podcast. studio,
Yeah.
didn't
It
we?
feels like Naughty Dog, perhaps it's getting really high. Sorry, I keep trying not to reference it, but it's so high now. It feels like, much like this sentence coming to its end, it
Yeah.
takes Naughty Dog a long time
Sure. Oh boy, howdy.
to release their stuff. Whereas Insomniac maybe are bringing stuff out perhaps a faster rate.
Yeah.
But also, Naughty Dog, they crunch a little bit. They do
Oh,
crunch.
just a tad.
Just a
little
smidge.
bit of crunching. Likewise, Rockstar produce very good product when they actually bother to bring out a new game.
Oh,
Shots
Yeah,
fired.
that's right. But I mean, the crunch over at Rockstar is infamous.
Yes.
So, RDR2, GTA 5, great games. So I'm told. But probably if
Rockstar table tennis.
if you're including crunch in there, it's probably not. It's not going to be Rockstar. So I'm just going to say Insomniac. In terms of scale, quality of product, speed at which or rate at which they release games, lack of crunch seemingly. Why not?
Yeah.
Ashton?
Yeah, I've written it's quite hard to quantify
it
what
is.
is a premier studio, so we never know what's going on inside. So they could be treating their workers like rubbish, but we
could.
don't know that. So we'll just go with positive thinking, and everyone in there is really happy with their job.
Yeah.
Um,
They get to hang out with Spider-Man.
yeah, and they've got like Spider-Man. They've got they've acquired some real good titles and some real good storylines. I mean, Wolverine, I'm already very excited for.
I got it wrong, by the way. It wasn't snicked. Or was it snicked? What did I say? It was I said shicked. It's snicked.
Snicked, is that
Ah.
It's snicked.
snicked.
That's the comic noise.
the sort of? I'd have said Schween.
Yeah.
Schween.
Yeah.
I'm Wolverine. Schween.
A
I
bunch
suppose
of
it's no
Schween.
different from snicked.
No, snicked is strange.
Snicked sounds kind of like a small little knife.
Snicked.
Just a hidden
Snicked.
blade.
Whereas Schween
Snicked.
seems like
Snicked.
Schween.
Snicked.
Yeah.
Schnick.
Excited for Wolverine, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that they're definitely for the PS5 specifically pulling it out of the bag so far, and are probably one of the main reasons a lot of people are excited about the PS5 and the games that are on the PS5.
Yeah.
I mean, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, the Spider-Mans, and Wolverine. Spider-Man and Wolverine are PS5 exclusives, so that's going to be really interesting to see what they do with the actual capabilities of the PS5 if it's actually completely exclusive. And I just think they are pretty damn good at the moment. Like you were saying, there is obviously studios that are also doing pretty good things, but right now Insomniac are everywhere and are really doing bits. So I have to agree. I think maybe, if not the best, top 5.
Who was it? Was it Jeff Keighley or who was it who tweeted after the PlayStation Showcase who said, like, my favorite bit of news from the showcase was learning that Insomniac now has 5,000 employees or something.
I don't know, but yeah.
Someone
I
said
think
that.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the joke being that how many games now?
I mean, it's been 2 this year. We've had Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank,
Yeah.
which were both PS5 and PS4, which is, well, it was Ratchet and Clank PS4. It wasn't just PS5.
I think only PS5.
Yeah.
Rift Apart. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
PS5.
Yeah. And then there's, Wolverine and Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's not until 2023, so we've got a little while to wait yet.
But they're clearly working on them in tandem.
Yeah, they definitely are. So, and they also got loads of other games in their pocket, like Sunset Overdrive's are really good. I really enjoy Sunset Overdrive. So
They also made the Spyro trilogy,
game. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
they've always kind of been about and putting out some pretty good games, and they've been owned by Sony for a little while as well, haven't they? So they're definitely getting a bit more mun
Yeah.
to make some pretty cracking games.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a reason that Marvel are giving Insomniac these licenses, and it's because that they have a good track record.
Yeah.
And I would say they're definitely Sony Interactive Entertainment's most important studio currently. I think Naughty Dog still have the prestige,
Yeah.
but certainly the proficiency with which Insomniac are churning out games of a really high standard is unbelievable. And I spoke about this before when we were talking about Ratchet and Clank, or maybe even Miles Morales back when that came out, that if they have found a sustainable model where they don't have to crunch and they are capable of putting out a sort of 7 to 10 hour game, maybe once or twice a year in some instances, then keep doing that.
Yeah.
As much as I love, I love The Last of Us Part 2. I was going to say it's tough going, but it's a brilliant game.
I really like that game, yeah.
It didn't really need to be 25 hours. That could have been The Last of Us Part 2 and Part 3.
Yeah.
And it took us years and years and years to get it. And yeah, you're paying the same price for a 25-hour game as you are for Insomniac's 7 to 10 hour game.
But you can play a 7 to 10 hour game again much easier.
You
than
can,
a 25
and
hour game.
also you're getting it far more regularly. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Insomniac, as you say, Ashton, pending some horrible situation going on internally, seem to have their flip together. They know they've got a model and it works for them, and that's great. And we may not see a game from them for a little while now because they have pretty much single-handedly propped up the PS5 launch. But there's a lot of very exciting stuff on the horizon. However, as you said, Peter, in terms of the world's greatest studio, it's going to come down entirely to your personal preferences and the things that you want from games and the things that you expect from games. So while I'm not necessarily comfortable labeling them the best studio in the world, and I'm not entirely sure that I'd be comfortable labeling any studio the best studio in the world. No. I've jotted down a few studios where if their studio name pops up at the beginning of a trailer, I'm instantly paying attention.
Yeah.
And they have my respect and they have my attention. I'm trying to find it now. From Software, Concerned Ape, the guy who single-handedly did Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog, obviously, Rockstar, Insomniac, Obsidian, Giant Sparrow, who did Edith Finch and Unfinished Swan, Night School Studio, who did Oxenfree and After Party, and that's just a few that I've jotted down, and there are probably more. But there are also a number of studios who have sort of fallen from grace a little bit over the year, like CD Projekt.
A few spring to mind. Bethesda,
it's Bethesda Game Studios is the name of their development outfit. And
I think
also
Squeenix
BioWare.
a little bit as well.
So you think Squeenix?
I think so. I think that they haven't. I mean, I'm quite excited for their new game, because Forspoken's Squeenix, isn't it?
Sorry?
Forspoken.
Yes.
That's
I'd say more
Squeenix.
Crystal Dynamics has sort of fallen a little bit after Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, I just think that Squeenix seem to be putting out a bunch of different stuff, but it all kind of looks the same. And I know obviously they've got their style, but I think there hasn't been a Square Enix game that's come out recently that people have been really, really excited for.
I'm trying to think of one. I mean, people love obviously Final Fantasy 14 online and stuff, and there's a lot of excitement on the horizon. They do have Western studios that are publishing stuff, with Guardians and also Marvel's Avengers. But yeah, a lot of what we would consider sort of the premier studios in gaming have had very public missteps in recent years that has really affected their standing. Where if I see CD Projekt Red before a trailer now, I will still be interested in what it's going to be, but I'm far less interested and immediately sold on it as I would have been a few years ago.
But same with Bethesda. Like some years ago, I would have said that I would put them in at least in that list that you just made. I wouldn't necessarily have given them as my final answer for the question. But now I will still be interested because I think they at least they can create good worlds, if nothing else. Bethesda, whether they can execute them properly is a different thing. But so I'll go, oh, okay, but it's no longer what it once was, and even like. It can only just be like one or two games that really like twist something like that. Like I would have said Arcane in that list until recently, and then for some reason, just not that interested in Deathloop at the moment. But the reviews are very good, so I'll give it a chance. But also Prey, I thought there was nothing wrong with it, but it just wasn't Dishonored. You know, I think Arcane had a really good first few outings, and then it was a bit like, oh, yeah, can we just go back a few steps and just do more of that, please? Yeah. You can have a really short time near the top and then end up on naturally rung 2.
It fluctuates quite a lot with most things. You know, there's movie studios that will go through really high periods of time and everyone's like churning out amazing games or movies even, and then they'll just pump out a bunch of rubbish for a couple of months or maybe a year or so, and then they come back with something good. It's naturally going to fluctuate because games and trends and everything are always changing. So there's always going to be ones that maybe CD Projekt Red will put out another game soon and it'll be amazing and that will like boost how much we like it. Maybe Insomniac will put out the next Spider-Man and it'll be trash and we'll be like, wow, we thought they were amazing last year and they're horrible now. So naturally it's going to fluctuate because things change, people change, developers change. So it's like...
Same with publishers. There was once a time I used to see the Ubisoft logo and whatever they were making, I just thought this is going to be great. And now... they really have to work hard to make anything.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's you're right, Ashton. It really doesn't take much to ruin your track record. As it stands, Insomniac have a really strong recent track record and really strong recent showing, and they show no signs of stopping. And not every studio can afford to do that because of the types of games that they make. Yeah. But certainly, the best studio in the world is going to depend entirely upon the kind of games that you enjoy and play. But there we are. It is time to move on to the big discussion. Big discussion time. Time for the big discussion. This week's big discussion comes courtesy of Callum Story, who asks, how excited or disappointed were you after the PlayStation Showcase, and has it changed your view of this console generation overall? Obviously, we're a little late on this one because the PlayStation Showcase was last week, but we recorded before. So we're only now getting to properly talk about it. Obviously, if you didn't get to watch it, you can see our live reactions. You can see our What Happened At videos on the YouTube channel. So go check those out.
Broadly speaking, I was I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I would say excited because I don't tend to get excited about that many games nowadays because it always feels like you hear about them quite far ahead of time lately, and so I don't like to like build myself up for 2 years or whatever. But what I saw in that showcase, I thought it was a great showcase. Basically, I thought there was a really good mix of new reveals versus updates of things we already knew about, and also within those new reveals, I thought there was a good mix of new IP and sequels or reboots or things like that. So it was nice to see. I've forgotten the names of all of the. I've not thought about that showcase really since last week. But what was the name of that? Did you just say it just now, Ashton?
Forspoken.
Forspoken. Yeah, I think that looks really interesting.
Amy Hennig's on the writing team.
Is she? Yeah. Didn't know that.
As is Gary Whitta.
I'm even more interested. I'm excited about Knights of the Old Republic. Of course, Wolverine.
Of course. I forgot about Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, see, there's much to think about, as it were. Wolverine was a great reveal. It's a ways away, but what way to just reveal that when I hadn't heard rumors of that or anything. I didn't know.
No.
I've not heard a whisper about that, and then suddenly, oh, who's this? This isn't it said Marvel. This isn't Spider-Man, but it's Insomniac. What? and then the claws. Schween.
Schween.
So
Wolverine.
I thought it was really good. There wasn't really a noticeable low point in the showcase for me. I know you feel a bit differently, Ben, but it's Ashton's turn next.
Yeah, I am really excited. I think that, I mean, we've been burned before.
Yes.
We've been burned before, so we're not going to get too excited until we've actually seen gameplay and stuff. But I think there is a lot to look forward to over the next sort of year and a half, 2 years. Not just with PlayStation, I think obviously a lot of the games that we saw at Gamescom and also at E3 are coming out on PlayStation as well. So generally, there's a lot to look forward to in the next year and a half. But I do think that the PlayStation showcase, like you're saying, was kind of the right level of new stuff, things we knew about, and updates on things that we kind of were acutely aware of that were happening. God of War Ragnarok, I'm really excited for. I really enjoyed the first God of War, and I'm excited for the next one to come out. There's been a lot of stuff about God of War. People getting annoyed about the way that Thor is fat.
Ridiculous.
There's people like, oh, why is Thor fat? And
They've
everyone's like,
reused the boat animation.
There's a reason he doesn't look like a Greek god.
because he's a Norse
He's
god.
not a flipping Greek god.
And everyone was getting annoyed. Not everyone. A bunch of people getting annoyed about the fact that the young girl at the end, I can't remember what her name is a young black girl giant. Everyone was like, oh,
There was a great Twitter thread
there's no
from-
black people in the Norse mythology.
Is it one of the directors, game
Yeah,
directors?
one of
There
the
was a
game-
great thread
yeah.
about how, well, actually, if you look at how we've adapted all of Norse
Well, I'm used.
the
Yeah,
Norse
I
mythology-
retweeted his because he was saying about how he's had to use the mute button so much since
Yeah.
the trailer came out because people were just.
Well, they were just saying, oh, yeah, you mean just like there was a god called Kratos back
Yeah.
in like,
Yeah.
Greek mythology.
Yeah,
or a
I mean,
It
they
was the whole
played
thing of,
fast
like-
and loose with all of Norse
Yeah.
mythology to fit their game. So,
Yeah, they were like, it's not.
says more about
It's
you.
not
than
true
it
to
does
the
about them.
mythology, Han. We're allowed to have a bit of creative license with it. Yeah, and KOTOR I'm really excited about as well. I think that was one of the things that was an amazing kickoff with the showcase was KOTOR. I think that was a really exciting start. I think you were saying last week that it had a really exciting middle. No, it had a really exciting beginning and end.
Yeah.
A little bit of a slump in the middle, but that tends to how it happens because we get the punch off at the beginning
Yeah.
and then the punchy thing at the end, and in the middle we get just kind of the things that they're like, we want to talk about this but we know that maybe you already know about this, or it's not really exciting.
I agree.
but,
When it did go down in the middle, to
but
an
I
extent,
don't think it was bad.
Yeah,
Robert.
whereas
Yeah.
Robert, it did go down,
It don't.
but I didn't think it went
Way
below
down.
average
No,
or
I
below
don't
my
think so.
threshold of.
No.
Were
Yeah.
you actively somewhat unexcited in the middle?
No.
No.
This is the really weird thing that I have been struggling with, and I did do a tweet about it, and a lot of people made me feel far more sane afterwards. Is that I watched it and I came away from it. There's so much there that I'm looking forward to,
Yeah.
but I came away from it like that was good. That was good. I enjoyed that, but people on Twitter were acting like it was the greatest thing they'd
Yeah.
ever seen.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I mean, and this is not to take anything away from anyone. Obviously, if you're excited about it, that's brilliant. Good for you. But as a fan of PlayStation, and as a fan of Spider-Man, as a fan of a lot of those games shown there, why don't I feel like that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to pick a fight or argue with anyone. I was just like internally having a bit of a
So
crisis.
confused.
Like, why don't I feel that excited? And I'm trying to work out why I didn't come away from it being hugely excited.
Do you think it's because the last couple months, obviously there's not been a lot that's happened over the last year in terms of games. There's been a couple things. But do you think it's because the last couple of months there's been so much game announcement and so much information that it's kind of now like we just get it. We're like, okay, great.
It
Next.
could be that. I think it's also the fact that it is following up perhaps an impossibly brilliant first showcase.
Yeah.
Where it showed off the PS5, it showed off the price. We saw tons of game announcements that we knew nothing about. Miles Morales, God of War,
Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Kena,
Yeah.
Horizon.
Demon Souls, Bug Snacks, like all of these PS5 games, and it was just like bang, but Gran Turismo. It was like flipping heck, guys,
Yeah.
slow down, this is insane. So maybe expectations were unreasonably high
Yeah.
for this. And again, I didn't come away disappointed. I'm just trying to work out why I'm not as excited as other people. I think it's also that God of War, you know, it's great to see it running, but it looks like God of War, and that's perhaps that was never going to be surprising, but
No.
that might be it. And also, the vast majority of the games that we saw, we already knew were happening.
Guardians
Wolverine,
of the
Wolverine, and KOTOR were perhaps the only two surprises there. Spider-Man 2, we knew was going to.
Probably gonna
Forspoken's
happen
was already announced.
Oh, was it?
Was it?
Yeah.
I'd not heard.
I
of
haven't heard of it. either.
Forspoken was announced previously, but I think that's the first time we got a proper good look at it.
Right.
And Marvel Spider-Man 2 was an inevitability.
Yeah.
Nice to see it, obviously. Venom, brilliant, like that. But perhaps that's sort of what I gleaned from, because I got a lot of responses from people on Twitter. And predictably, the only people who, on average, the vast majority of people who responded were people who kind of fell in line with how I was feeling. And that was largely what they were saying, is that it's a lot of games that we already knew about, and that, you know, a lot of these games are really far away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that might be why. A lot to look forward to, but I did come away from it afterwards wondering why I wasn't as excited as everyone else.
I don't think I'm too upset that these games are a little bit further away than we've been used to the last like Gamescom and E3, because I think that it gives me a bit of time
Yeah.
to kind of look into the game a bit more and not think I have to buy this in 4 months because it's coming out in 4 months along with 15 other games.
Yeah.
So I think I'm kind of happy that things weren't next month, in 3 months' time, tomorrow. I'm kind of happy about that. But I did really enjoy it. I think that there was games in there that for a bit of everything for everyone. There was that game, that Eve one that was like some kind of JRPG Bayonetta
Action,
situation
hack
that
and
went on
slash.
for what felt like 1,000 years,
Yeah, it
but it did eventually end.
That was the low point for me.
That was the low point, yeah. There was like Chia, which I'm really excited about. I think it looks really chill and really cute. And obviously we had God of War. There was Gran Turismo, which I don't think any of us are particularly interested in.
Yeah, but I
Not
see
usually.
why.
Yeah,
But
see
I
why
get
it's
it.
there.
Like I understand.
Wonderlands
The real driving
didn't feel like it
experience.
needed to be there. Like a couple of games, it felt like there were contractual obligations for them to be there.
I was kind of
Deathloop,
glad.
Wonderlands,
Yeah.
Guardians. It's like those didn't
Yeah.
really need to be there.
I'm
I was
glad we
only-
got a bit more gameplay for Guardians and
Yeah.
for it wasn't gameplay really, it was more story trailer for Guardians, and I was glad that we got gameplay for Wonderlands because we
Yes,
hadn't actually seen
absolutely.
any.
Again, I'm happy to
Um,
see those things.
But yeah, I do
But-
think that maybe they could have just been outside of it,
Yeah.
and maybe something else that was new could have taken its place.
I guess
But
it depends
yeah.
on the value you place or the approach you have to what kind of counts as new in your own head. Like if it's something that, yeah, all right, maybe we know it's coming. For example, Spider-Man 2. That wasn't a surprise that game existed, and probably wasn't a surprise it was at that show. I think everyone probably thought we might see Spider-Man 2 today, but we didn't know that Venom would be in it. We didn't know, I mean, it's not been confirmed, but that Craven almost certainly is in it. So you can take things from that you didn't know going in. You might have known there'd be a Spider-Man 2, but you didn't know it was Venom. So
Yeah.
that to me is some of the excitement I get out of things like that, where, yeah, all right, Spider-Man 2 is going to be there, but what will it be like? What will it be about? And you could say the same perhaps about God of War. You know, we learned more about that game. And, you know, if you say Forspoken as well had been talked about, to actually see it for the first time is, you know, also
Yeah.
a nice thing. And that's a new thing in that sense. So
And that's kind of, if anything, sold you the game
yeah.
because you can see what it looks like. You can
And the other
see how it's meant to play.
Exactly. And the other thing is, for me, and maybe some other people who you might have seen on Twitter being very positive about the showcase, is that, as I said to my initial answer to the question, I didn't come away feeling excited in the sense that I have a lot of anticipation for what's coming and, oh, here it comes, like Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I just came away thinking that was a good showcase. But I'm
Yeah.
not thinking, oh, you know, I can't wait, and here it comes. And I think there's a slight difference there between the two. Like, some people were and actively are excited in that Christmas Eve kind of way. But I personally just thought it was a good showcase. I enjoyed the games.
Yeah.
And that, I think there's a slight difference there between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I must say, a little disappointed by the Naughty Dog showing. Not that I was expecting them to. Well, I think a lot of people were expecting them to be there, perhaps with Factions, the Last of Us multiplayer thing they're working on.
Oh, yeah.
But the Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy bundle is weird, and I don't know
not bring
why.
out the Drake
Yeah, it's a
collection
bit weird.
first.
Well, there's that, but also it's a weird thing. I get if they want to release those games on PC, and even then, you're right. It's flipping weird to not give them 1 to 3.
Yeah.
But also to re-release them on PS5 and presumably make people pay for them again is weird. And I know, I mean, there aren't a huge amount of PS5s in the wild for, people to buy. But there's a good chance that the people who already have PS5s had PS4s. And if they wanted to play Uncharted 4 or Lost Legacy, they could do via backwards compatibility. And they've already done free patches for a lot of their first-party games on PS4 to make them run better on PS5. So packaging them up and selling them feels like a cynical move to me. And the fact that had dedicated time to say, Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy,
again,
we're selling it to you again, was a bit, I don't know. I found that one to be a little bit disappointing, personally. I'm not going to buy it because I have it on PS4 and I'll just play it again that way.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy it, but I think I'll probably play it again around the time that it re-releases.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know.
I've wanted a reason to replay it, but yeah.
I get that they're releasing them on
play
PC, but to re-release it on PS5, there's currently no news, I don't think, of like an upgrade path for people who already own the original. And it's a problem again with Sony and their mixed messaging about the console generations. Yeah, some are getting free patches, some are getting paid upgrades. It's all kind of all over the place. Yeah. Not a huge fan of this move, personally. I found that quite disappointing. I wanted to see something from Naughty Dog, really. Even if we're teasing something that's coming out in 2023.
Yeah.
Can we not see just a little bit of what Naughty Dog are working on, maybe?
Something.
I don't know. On the whole, though, great show.
Yeah.
But I came away from it less excited than other people did, I think.
Which is okay.
That's okay.
Incidentally, you are correct that Wild has been cancelled.
Yes, I did look it up afterwards.
I didn't look at it. I just happened to stumble across an article about, like an old article from a couple
It was
of
this
months
year.
ago.
Yeah, it was really
like,
recent.
oh, that's funny. We were just talking about that the other day. Wild being a game where you could take control of animals, much like Chia. But yeah, seemingly, I don't think it's completely officially out there from an actual spokesperson, but I think someone on the team or something has said, it's not happening.
It's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Yeah.
But there we are. Let us know what you think about everything we've discussed today in the comments below. And also on various other platforms. Peter's going to tell you about them right meow.
You can go to youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump for all of our content. That's videos on YouTube and streams on YouTube and Twitch. When we're streaming, we are modded by Lord Brotovich, Trailing Badger, and Mr. Black. Speaking of Twitch, if you've got Amazon Prime, one of the benefits of that is a Twitch sub. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just in there. It's in the bundle.
And also, they don't tell you when it runs out because they don't want you to use it. So you've got to do it every month.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Twitter.com and Facebook.com/Team TripleJump. That's our social media presence. Twitter is where we have our video and live stream announcements, things like that. Facebook, more for legacy video content and also new things too, like Facebook Lives. And
weird newses.
And weird news posts, which are also on Twitter and so on. Looked after by Fraser, who's our community manager, and he's doing a great job. And patreon.com/Team TripleJump is where you can go to check out our Patreon. New tiers are coming. It's very exciting. So keep an eye out for those. And if you're already a patron, as Ben said at the top of the podcast, you'll be able to see a little sneak peek about what's happening.
There'll be something special dropping on your podcast feeds on Monday as well. So keep an eye out for that.
We have a website, and it is working.
Yes.
It's triplej.mup, so triplejU.mp, in case I didn't pronounce that correctly.
You did.
If you want to join our Discord, you can go to triplej.mup/Discord, where everyone likes to hang out and chat to each other and sometimes play games with each other. We're modded by Jack, Joe, and Hollow Eyes, so if you ever see on there and they tell you to stop doing something, stop doing it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help. You can listen to our podcast in all of its means if you go to triplej.mup/podcast. Maybe listen while you're making a beverage, making dinner.
Maybe.
See whatever takes your fancy.
Yeah.
You can watch all of our live stream VODs, which is a lot per week, and even more so if there's a game announcement happening, which is triplej.mup/VODs. So you can check that out there. And also, very exciting, in case you haven't noticed, no. This is my top. No merch. You can go to triplejumpshop.com to check out all of our new merch, pins, t-shirts, a USB. You can also get all of the old previous merch if you've missed out on purchasing one of those.
All the stuff that wasn't limited, that is.
Yeah,
some of it's gone
forever.
Yeah.
And if you want to find out about that, or if you want to find out about the next merch drop, you can follow @TripleJumpShop on Twitter for all of the latest news and updates on our merch.
Why not follow PETA and Ashton on Twitter and Instagram at that Peter Austin and at Scrambled Ashton. And myself just on Twitter at confused_dude. We do lists every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We do streams. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday being the solo streams on Twitch. Thursday being the joint stream. Blaze it. On YouTube. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly. Friday for patrons of a certain tier. Sunday for everyone else. It is a Worst Games Ever week this week. The podcast is every Saturday, and we do shows one every other week or thereabouts. Why not leave a review on iTunes or your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythm. TripleJump.gg for virtual digital currencies and subscriptions and all sorts of stuff like that. We are hiring a freelance writer. We need you to go to TripleJump right now. Click on the careers tab and apply. If you would like to write top 10 lists for us for YouTube, you will be paid. And you'll be part of the freelance team. So go check out the listing now. You probably don't have a huge amount of time left because we will be going through the applications next week if you're just hearing this now. So if you can get this written this weekend, that'd be a good idea. We will, of course, communicate to you when the applications will be closing.
It's on the website.
But there's a good chance that we will just go until we find the right person. Then we'll close it. So if you want to apply, do it. Just do it. Don't wait. There's a Quipscope about Life is Strange. It's Worst Games Ever week. We said that. And there's new merch. It's all very exciting. Loads of Patreon announcements coming very soon. If you're already on Patreon, as Peter said, you will have some news about that already, probably. And we'll tell you all about it on Monday. It's exciting, though. Patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Go support us. You don't want to miss out.
Just enough time, then, for Ben to give us today's sponsor.
Yes, once more, it is Life is Strange Blue Colors and Life is Strange Life is Beige, thank you. True Colors, which is the dual release for dogs.
Sounds like we're finishing
so that
just
they
in time.
Can play the game
Stompy times
as well.
The dogs are coming.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Woof woof.